Hey everybody, welcome to another good e-reader review video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Today we're proud to give you the worldwide exclusive on the Pocketbook Color Lux. This is e-ink Triton 2 on an 8-inch display. Resolution 800 by 600, so not the greatest, and only an 800 megahertz CPU in conjunction with 256 MB of RAM. Storage, it can expand it, but by default you have 4 gigs, and it has Wi-Fi. Battery life is between 1 and 2 months. Now, you might be saying to yourself, hey, it looks like an e-reader. This is your standard 6-inch e-reader. So you could really see the size of the 8-inch really sort of take effect here. Okay, so as you can see, we have the web browser opened up to start here, and web browsing fairly slow. I think it took about a good 6 minutes for our page to fully load, but it has zoom functions, and this would be a good time to just show you the keyboard that pops up.
So, very simple. You press the shift button to get capitals. It doesn't, it's more like a caps lock button because it doesn't go away when you type the first letter, so you have to press it again to get the lower cases. It does have a dedicated row of numbers. That's pretty much it. Very simplistic keyboard. Okay,
so give us the 360. What's this device all about?
This thing is massive. It is a gigantic device. The bezel is thick all around. The screen, you are seeing it for real. This screen is maximum brightness. You can see our hands are very reflective. We tried to get the light as high as we could for the sake of this review video, but the screen is just really washed out and blurry. It's very strange. You have kind of this hard rubber plastic kind of material all around. The back is very similar to that of the Nook Simple Touch. You have a 3.5mm headphone jack for MP3s. You have a standby button / power button. You also have this little window door here is for the micro SD card and micro USB. Nothing on the right, nothing on the left, nothing on the top.
So what exactly is this little slide bar thing here?
What this is the front light control. They put a heavy emphasis on front light control. You can see here you can tap based on where you want it. So you can tap to kind of find that sweet spot, or you can drag. So off, on, off, and on. So we've maxed it out because we want the video to really be as good as possible with the backlight. So it is at full, but unfortunately, it just so far it isn't enough to really get a good picture out of the screen.
Okay, what exactly are these buttons here inside?
We have 4 buttons. This is a more button kind of thing, so it opens up additional menus in certain applications like that. This is forward and back for web pages, pictures, PDFs, books, and so forth. Just, you know, it's kind of simple. Forward is this way, back is that way. And this is the home button, so if you press that, it will go home.
Now this is a full touch screen.
It is a full touch screen. You can go ahead and touch things on the screen itself. Things take a very long time to do anything, so be patient with this. A lot of the time you'll see a little hourglass in the corner, so make sure you watch for that.
Okay, so one of the advantages about this device is that it'll automatically do firmware updates once you configure your Wi-Fi. So you can hit the software button here, and it will automatically update, which is good because a lot of users can't be bothered with updating their devices. As you can see here, it does play music, but it doesn't have built-in speakers, so you need to rely on your headphones here. Before we look at the reading experience, let's take a look at just some of the apps that are available here.
So we looked at the browser, and the bookstore just kind of endlessly loads. We'll just open each one of these up as we go along here. So here's the calculator. So see, it missed the 3s, so you really have to make sure you... Nice. So we'll go... That's the calculator, very simplistic. Calendar is just a calendar, so we'll go on to something that has a little bit more, you know...
Yeah, it's unique. It's very seldom with an e-reader do you actually have the types of apps that this Pocketbook Color Lux has on it. So you could play chess if you want to. And of course you could play 1 or 2 players or against the computer.
Got him. All right. So we
Good
also
work.
have coloring, which is kind of a cool feature.
Yeah, this might be cool for the kids. And there's a lot of actual Android apps that do exactly what this app does.
So you can find, here's a picture of Dumbo, and we're gonna watch the world burn and paint him. We'll paint him green. Wow, it looks horrible. So you can choose different colors, like so, and tap the screen to kind of fill in the color. It's not like you have to actually swipe along and all that, but you can see that they're obviously trying to make use of the color in the best way they can, so this might be a little bit fun. So you can go ahead and check that out.
Yeah.
It's always a good feature to have, different things like this.
Well, it appeals to like the kids in the family, right?
Yeah. Klondike, which is essentially solitaire. So, Jack to Queen. There you go. So, it's alright. Very slow. Everything's very slow. I'm sorry, but things are, you know, you have to be really patient with everything. So here's MP3 player. You can play, see it came with actually a couple of preloaded things.
Yeah.
We can't let you guys hear because there's no way to really hear anything without a headphone
But
jack.
you can control the volume via touch.
Right.
It's not an extensive thing, but you could throw it on shuffle,
Yeah.
play it in order and such. It's you know, I'm glad that these sort of features are included, not necessarily to listen to music, but for audiobooks.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can see it's kind of a slow performer all around, but if you have a little bit of patience, it's not the worst e-reader in the world. Of course, it has photographs that you can look at in color. You have RRS news, so you can sort of bypass that slow web loading experience and just generate like pure RRS feeds.
Right.
And also a painting app / drawing app.
So there's all your colors. Just a little bit of a paint type thing. And finally, Sudoku. So you can choose your level of difficulty. It'll load everything up. Man, this thing is just
Speaking of loading things
wow.
up.
I think I've seen that hourglass more when we tested this thing than any other thing in there.
Okay, let's exit
We'll
this.
exit that.
Let's look at the reason why we're here today, and this is the e-reading experience. So let's start with just your standard ebook to see how like this performs with page turn speeds and how it actually looks. Because a bigger screen is more room to fit text. So this doesn't look too bad with the color.
Looks all right.
This is the same book as we load on almost all of our ebooks.
We just do this to stay consistent so we don't pick better books or worse books than others. We just show pretty much the same material, so we make sure that it's consistent all around. So let's
now,
get to
does this work?
Yeah, it'll work with swipe for sure.
Okay, good.
So we're going to go ahead and see what we can do here once it's done flashing and blinking. So if you long press on something, you get your little anchors.
So it's the same kind of anchors almost that Kobo used.
Very slow. You can make a highlight. You can search on Google. You can make a note. Dictionary lookup. We'll just go ahead and make a highlight real quick. Show you that. Make a note. Hi. And we'll go and do a dictionary lookup of could. And there you go. You
Seems to have loaded
everything.
pretty fast.
I like how most of the banners are in a different color to make sure you know you're on a color e-reader.
Yeah.
And then you have, oh. There we go. Then you have your more. Your font settings. So you have, I'm not a fan when it goes into another menu because you know
Yeah.
you don't have any reference now. It's just, so you can go ahead and choose your font size. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's an actual font size. So you actually do get like the font like you would see in like a Microsoft Word type application.
A lot of different font options.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that menu really quick just to show people the number of options.
So you have quite a bit.
Wow. It's probably the most number of preloaded fonts I've ever seen on an e-reader before.
Right. And then we'll press OK. And then we'll go back and see what happens.
You could also change line spacing and margins as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of sucks you're on a different menu, so you don't have any frame of reference.
No.
There isn't even any text that sort of gives you an idea on what size
and they
brings
have enough room down here for a viewing window, like Kobo does, but it's not going to happen. Like,
there's a lot of Android apps and Windows 8 apps that do that, where they kind of give you maybe a line of text that just is a frame of reference on what it'll look, rather than go back to the menu, change it up, make it big, make it smaller.
We also have rotate. You can choose which way you want to rotate it, so we'll show you real quick. It doesn't have a gyroscope, so there's no grav sensor. It will not rotate on its own. You have to make it rotate. So go ahead and rotate it back to the conventional way. So this is pretty much the e-reading experience for the Pocketbook.
Well, this is color. So how does color content look? Let's maybe fire up another book.
Okay, we have a comic book here with a lot of color.
So this is it was a free comic when Max Payne got put out. So we should get a little bit of an indication on how this handles, you know, like a full color comic book.
Once it loads.
Yeah.
All right. So you can see here, this particular scene is very purple, but we'll switch the page.
Really?
I pressed it. Oh, you've really done it now. You swiped it 3 times before it even had a chance.
All right. Well, so this is my main complaint with Pocketbook in general. They tend to put out larger screen displays, but they don't put enough RAM and enough processor to handle it. Yeah,
they always do this. I'm sorry, but the 902, the 912, they always do this kind of stuff.
612, 602.
Oh, man. I mean, it's absolutely crazy how, you know, they offer this front-lit technology, color e-ink, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and I guess these are a little bit bigger files, so they probably will take a little bit more time to load and everything like that. So that's mainly the problem. You saw when we were looking at a normal ebook, page turns were pretty fast, menus loaded pretty fast. It wasn't a big deal. But once we start looking at like higher files, like this is about a 100 meg file, the comic book was about a 30-40 meg file. Page turns here,
these ones are working a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you can see there is lots of color. So the pinch and zooming is very difficult to master. So once you've pinch and zoomed, you kind of want to wait for it to render a little bit. And if it doesn't, you should be able to kind of move it around.
You should, but you aren't.
It might catch up here.
Well, guys, if
there we go. So we've rendered it. Now if you hold it, you should get some sort of movement. You have to be very patient with this. You cannot rush this, because once you let go, it's going to have to re-render once more into where you let go. And yeah, it's quite the challenge, and it's not very convenient, because there's no way you're going to be able to really get to where you want to go like you would on an LCD screen. It's just, there's no way.
All right, well, if you are looking for a color e-reader that will make comic books and PDF materials really shine, I encourage you to keep on waiting. This e-reader, as you saw, it takes a phenomenal amount of time for anything color to load. PDFs, comic books, internet pages. It's woefully slow, and it's mainly due to the subpar components that Pocketbook continues to use. Their devices themselves are solid. I mean, when's the last time you saw an e-ink Triton 2 with a frontlit display? Never. Right. You know, so they're breaking new ground as like a company, but they're shooting themselves in the foot by having to rely on really abysmal amounts of RAM, a woefully slow processor. It's almost like when they went to say, okay, you know, what kind of components should we use? They just went to like a Las Vegas scrapyard full of like gas station pumps from like the 40s and 20s, and you know, found a box of components and just said, hey, let's just throw those in our units.
Honestly, I think this is the fifth generation of Pocketbook devices, and I don't think they've even touched 512 MB RAM or anything over than say 800 megahertz processor. They've been around we've been reviewing their units for at least 5 years, and the specs haven't increased. And that's important with today's standards, because then you get this. You get too much happening. This is the only responsive thing. Look at that. It's quick. Really quick.
Well, when you changed Dumbo's colors, that was pretty quick.
That was quick too, but I mean, you can barely change the text without taking 5 steps, and each step, every time you tap it, you don't know if it really did it or not. There's no indication of it really waiting. Sometimes there's a little hourglass in the bottom, but sometimes there's not, and it doesn't communicate. It's super unresponsive. It's very, very dark. Look at my hands compared to the screen. We're blasting light on this thing right now, and you can barely make out what any of this is. It's a device I don't particularly like too much. I'm sorry, but it's just. And with the backlight off, good luck. You can't even see anything.
Yeah, so you've heard our thoughts. Let's hear yours. Do you like this device? Do you think it has potential? Let us know. YouTube.com/GoodyReader is our YouTube channel. If you're watching this video on our website or other websites, check it out. We have over 700 videos and millions of minutes of video watched every month. So people are obviously digging it. We're happy to give you guys a comprehensive hands-on and really show you the ins and outs of this device. I believe that PDF experience pretty slow, but most of the apps seem to have loaded pretty fast, and your traditional ebook experience fairly robust. No complaints at all. There's just small complaints, but it's a very internationally friendly e-reader. You could read books in many different languages, which is Pocketbook's MO, is to appeal to as many international markets as possible. They do very well in Eastern European countries and Russia, as well as parts of Asia as well. And I mean, e-ink Triton 2, it's untread ground, so we're happy that companies are continuing to innovate, although in some cases that they are failing to innovate the hardware inside. So my name is Michael.
And this is Peter.
And you've watched a comprehensive review of the Pocketbook Touch Lux.